This is the Women Who Radiate Wealth podcast, where we show up as we are and have fun in business. Join the confidence coach, Susan Axelrod, and media mogul and media coach, Kornelia Stephanie, as they focus on women's entrepreneurship, empowering female entrepreneurs. They speak about infusing financial and emotional self-confidence in business while making your offer, being intentional and purposeful with what you want to bring to fruition. Are you a woman who radiates wealth? Join Kornelia and Susan here as they have fun in business. Kornelia. I love our intro. I love this podcast. I love our conversations. I love everything about it. How about you?
When I just heard that, I feel like, oh my God, this is the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. It's incredible. That's how I feel.
I know, it's so great. Today's episode is going to be so fun. Kornelia Stephanie is the head of the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group, which is a burgeoning new earth leading practitioner media group. And as in that capacity, Kornelia introduced me to our guest today, Kari Mitchell. And because I have a book show podcast, I was lucky enough to interview TK on my book show. And at the end of the book show, I said to her, you have got to come on to our Women Who Radiate Wealth podcast, because her topic, Kornelia, is of such interest to both of us. Inspired aging, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. She's the model. She's the model. So she walks her talk and she lives and breathes what she's talking about. So we always love that authenticity when people are really in their brilliance. And so this is a really, really important time for all of us to choose how do we want to live? Do we want to live according to our culture, according to the beliefs of our families, according to the way that society talks about aging, or do we choose to live ageless? And so I'm choosing that. That's my choice. And I'm very clear with my choices. And I look so forward to having this discussion today. I'm so grateful that you brought it onto the Women Who Radiate Wealth, because we're thriving in our wealth and we're thriving in our health.
I just love that. I couldn't agree more. And I'm so happy to welcome Kari Mitchell. TK, welcome to our podcast. So happy to have you here.
Thank you both for inviting me.
TK, our conversation on the book show about your Lifestyle 120 brand was so motivating to me. But the reason I wanted to have you on this podcast, where Kornelia and I show up as we are and have fun in business, is because that's what I observed about you. I did my research. I went to your YouTube channel. I watched your YouTube videos. I love you doing chair exercises. I love you showing up in the gym. I love you sitting there talking about dental hygiene. I mean, honestly, TK, I want to invite you to just take a moment to share the idea of Lifestyle 120 with us.
Yeah, this just kind of a little backstory. I spent 32 years as a public school educator. And then after personal transformations that included overcoming my own health issues naturopathically, I started searching for the answers, like many people have. What am I supposed to do next? So I knew, though, that I didn't want to retire the same way my colleagues and relatives have retired in the past. I was absolutely certain that there was more important work for me to do to continue my life of service, but in a different way. So I went back to school to get health certified, blended my love for teaching and wellness, and started my holistic coaching and motivational speaking business at age 62. That was a few years ago, called Lifestyle 120. Because I wanted to inspire women to step into their power and achieve what was most important to them, I use my own experiences and success to create programming for mature and seasoned women. So, yeah.
Kornelia, we're mature and seasoned women.
Right.
Yeah, what are we? We call that the sage, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We call it the sage wisdom. But ladies, I have something to share with you. Is that my biological chosen age? I have a chronological age, and I have a biological chosen age. And my biological chosen age is 35.
Mm-hmm.
So that is because when I looked at how what was my favorite age to be? What was my favorite age to be? Because we don't want to talk about our age in a way to where language has meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And if we, how do we talk about aging? How do we talk about things? Because our cells, our biology is listening.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very important that we watch the language of the things that we say, because our body, our cells listen to the prophecy that we're speaking.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my chosen age, my biological chosen age is 35. When I turned 50,
Mm-hmm.
I threw a big party,
Mm-hmm.
and like a 3-day event. And what I did is, on the card is, I invited everyone to come to my 35th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the age that I feel, that's the age that I'm living, that's the age that I'm showing up in.
Mm-hmm.
That's my chosen preferred age. And so that's why I'm, a leader in the feeling of living ageless.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
TK, I want to, before I let you comment on this, Kornelia, that's interesting. I'm going to, I realize now that's not the first time I heard that, but I'm hearing it again, and I'm going to give thought to my own chosen biological age. TK, I can't say how much I love that your chosen biological age might be 62. The fact that you had total, utter, complete transformation. It might not be, but it could be. And so I just want to give you an opportunity to share on this, TK.
Yeah, that's the age that I started my business after, like I said, I don't like to use the word retire, but graduating from my public school teaching career. But like you said, Cornelia, I really view myself, and I want my community to view themselves as ageless. And so I love that word. Um, and it's kind of interesting how we get to a particular age and then we start feeling old. And it's a mindset. I truly believe that, I don't know, it seems as though we falter when we get to be a certain age. And I think it has to do with awareness and confidence. We seem to sort of lose our confidence and our sense of mastery by allowing other people's opinions, society's opinions, to dominate our thinking. And so we lose touch, I think, with our inner child um,
Mm.
by and also by ceasing to be relevant, by distancing ourselves from learning new things, by giving up, by not being willing to take risks, by listening to the head and not the heart, by allowing ourselves to stay stuck. I know one of my missions is to change the worldview on aging so it's positive, not negative. So we don't have to think about that anymore. When they see these wonderful, beautiful women in their second half, just like you said, yeah, just doing this.
Doing this,
It's like,
baby.
wait a minute, I want some of that, you know. Yeah.
That's why I actually like Cornelia. That's why I like the marrying of these concepts. Be
Mm-hmm.
impeccable with your word, Cornelia, your chosen biological age.
Yes.
And also, I wrote a comment when you were talking, TK, retiring is a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Aging is a mindset. What
Yes, it is.
Kornelia, you're doing is creating this new mindset of your chosen age and the way you feel.
Well, it is
Absolutely.
aging is about consciousness, right? It's about,
Absolutely.
like you said, TK, I love that when you talked about how other people
Mm-hmm.
feel about aging, because again, or they don't think you should be thinking this way, or you should
Mm-hmm.
be looking this way, or you should be doing this,
Mm-hmm.
because we act our age according to our culture
Mm-hmm.
and our conditioning.
Yes.
Young people, they don't think about aging because they haven't been conditioned.
Yes, absolutely.
Our world has been conditioned about, when you get this age, when you get this age, when you get this age, this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so then when you go to the gym and people are um, in the locker room or whatever, and then they're aging themselves by talking about, oh, and this, and my body, and
Yep.
this, and
Mm-hmm.
that, and Medicare, and this, and that, and all these things. And your body, your biology is listening.
Is listening. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
Mm-hmm.
why, like what you're doing with
Mm-hmm.
your program, TK, is making sure that we stay positive
Right.
and that we reframe
Yes.
some of these non-supportive
Yes.
ways that we've been conditioned.
Absolutely. That's 100% it. Yeah.
Yeah. TK,
Yeah.
why don't you talk about your program a little bit? We
Oh,
want to
okay.
really help people understand what it
Mm-hmm.
is that you're offering, because Cornelia, what you just said, that's like gold. I mean, it really, it's one of those tweetable moments that your
Mm-hmm.
body is listening to the words as you complain about your ailments. TK, share with us, what the program is that you're offering.
Yes. Well, my program is an online program. It's called Sprout Your New Life. Online, spiritually based empowerment program for mature and discerning women who are ready to release those negative belief patterns and make the second half of their lives the best years. Now, it's a comprehensive curriculum, and it's based on a system of fundamental universal truths that can be applied to everyday living to promote growth, transformation, and success. Now, covering all aspects of a woman's life, including lifestyle, relationships, purpose, and more. Our program is designed to uncover the roadblocks that may be keeping a woman from moving forward.
Mm.
And the program consists of, we have 24 inspiring videotape modules and workbook exercises that help women reclaim their health, confidence, purpose, and power so they can live the life of their dreams. There's also a Facebook group to support women on their journey, and bi-weekly emails delivered to their mailbox, to their inbox, I should say.
Mm.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And I sometimes, I use the word work, um, and I put it in parentheses because I really think that we should never really give up our passions. And for many people, they identify with that as work. So I don't know if it's okay. I'd like to pose a question to the audience: is what type of work would seem like play because you could remain engaged all day? And I want to encourage people that retiring from life is not a viable option. Never view life as a perpetual vacation. Life is a creative enterprise, and our creative gifts are to be shared with others. We are to build, create, and make a difference in the world. That's my personal philosophy.
At any age, and
At any age,
at
right?
any age. So it doesn't matter if you're 100 years old, which I'm starting a new club, TK. You're going to love
Oh,
this.
okay.
My new club is 100 plus,
Okay.
driving into our hundreds plus. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that coming out in social media here, upcoming in the next couple months. I'm
Mhm.
starting, and this I didn't even realize this, because that I was going to be really stepping into this.
Mhm.
But now, for the next 40 years, look at me. Look at me. For the next 40 years of
That's
my
right.
life,
Yeah.
I am going to be modeling what it's like to live into your hundreds and
Mm.
thriving by choice,
Yes. By
by
choice.
choice.
Mm,
And of course, we're going to do all those health practices, TK, that you teach and talk about,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it's so important to have a community of people that support your thinking, not the
Mm-hmm.
naysayers, not the people that are hiding in the background that are complaining and this and that and this and that. No,
Right.
we're talking about being proactive with
Yes.
our healthcare, with our
Mm-hmm.
thriving, with our abundance, with the choices we make. The biology, the language you use
Yes.
is listening. So
Yes.
yes.
my
Yeah.
cells are already on board.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've chosen to be all in. We
All in.
we've
Yeah.
chosen to be all in, and that's a clear choice. And so now we need to be surrounded. We need to be showing and modeling a new way. And so you're already a leader in this with everything that you've created, TK, and you are such a beautiful speaker, such a
Oh.
gorgeous woman. So the women that come into your environment, they need that support
Mm.
because they need to be held, and they need to be held accountable
Yeah.
for reframing the way to do it, because
Mhm.
we haven't been doing it. We've
Yes.
been doing it all wrong.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm. I
Yeah.
just want to say, TK, your brand Lifestyle 120 is
Right.
what we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
Cornelia just, you know, said it's the whole lifestyle. There's a consciousness that
Yes.
the biology is
Yes.
listening to the words. I wrote a comment on that,
Yeah.
Cornelia.
Yeah.
But it's really, truly a lifestyle. And TK, again, showing up as you are and having fun in business,
Mhm.
you're doing these videos is absolutely amazing. I really honestly did love the one on dental hygiene.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
The
now
one twenty.
everybody's gonna go look for that video now.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes.
so and when you say
Subscribe to my YouTube channel and go look for that video.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
exactly, while you're there subscribing to TK's YouTube channel, go to Susan's and subscribe to hers, and then go over to mine and subscribe to mine. We
Yes.
appreciate you
Yes.
because
Yeah.
That's
we're
right.
going to give you such amazing content to
That's right.
support you in thriving in your
Yeah.
life.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Lifestyle 120 because I've talked about this before, but right before years ago, when I launched my wellness business, 2015, around there, um, I had these business names that really weren't working, and I wasn't comfortable with them, but I was getting ready to go apply for my DBA at that time. And that morning, I just got this download, Lifestyle 120. I thought, what in the heck is that? I went and Googled it to make sure nobody had it, of course. It's like, oh yeah. And then it just the processing and the download and everything just made sense, is that 100 is not so unusual, but pushing that trajectory out, and being lively and relevant at that particular, I just love that idea. There's so much involved in that whole concept. So
Yeah, there is.
yeah.
Or Cornelia, go ahead.
Well, first I was going to say, yeah, it really comes down to, we do this in our business.
Hmm.
We strategize. We sit
Hmm.
down and we strategize when we need to pivot, when we need to change something,
Hmm.
when something isn't working that we want to change. It's
Right.
the same thing we do with our life. Like, how long do you want to be all in? How do you want to live your life? How do you
Hmm.
want to model and be seen?
Right.
The choices that we make are so important. The choices we make moment to moment are so important, because that is the now. That is where the gold is. That is where the future and the past are together in this moment, right here, right now, with
Hmm.
the choices we make. So
Yes.
we can look at our life and we can say, how long do we want to be healthy? How long? Because if we're processing our emotions,
Hmm.
not holding old suppressed beliefs in the body causing illness,
Yes.
if we're tending to our mental well-being, if we're honoring our spirituality, because we do know that that is a big part of it,
Yes, it is.
and so having a good solid relationship with the God of your understanding,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
however that plays out for you. And then we get to co-create, because don't you think that God wants you healthy and happy?
Absolutely. 100%.
and
Absolutely.
and financially free.
Yes.
So God, this is what I talk to my clients about in the business confidence coaching. God wants us to be emotionally happy,
Mm-hmm.
physically healthy, and financially free.
Oh,
So
yes.
let's get that in there. But
Yeah.
we are so talking about lifestyle, folks, but
Yes.
under lifestyle are choices.
Yes.
Kornelia, TK, and I are women at a wonderful, fun, amazing age. And you might say we've experienced some things.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
it could be just as possible that we could be curled up in a bed somewhere from the difficulties we've faced, which 100% of people do, and, completely inactive and demotivated.
Mm-hmm.
But with the commitment, with the understanding, with the emotional processing techniques that Kornelia helps us with in her book, I was just writing a comment on your book, Kornelia, with the processing and mental understanding that TK is helping us with, we are here showing up in real time.
Mm.
Am I right, ladies?
You are absolutely right. Yes, absolutely. What, again, back to what you said before, it's a choice.
Mm.
Yes, we can roll up in a ball and wallow in our sorrow, but we have a choice if we want to make a big difference in our lives and also the lives of others. I always say, it's really my mindset too is, yes, this is my business, but it's not all about me. It's about contributing to the lives of others and helping lift them. That's what really all is about, is love. Yeah, for
Yeah,
them.
it's about your legacy, right?
Mhm.
Which
Right.
which is what Susan
Hmm.
is branded with, leaving your legacy, helping,
Legacy.
right? It's about your legacy, and
Yes.
it's actually, you know what? I feel like it's really our responsibility
Yes.
as empowered, sovereign, free, gorgeous, phenomenal, amazing, have your cake and eat it too kind of women.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
It's our responsibility, because we have to show what's possible. We have
Hmm.
Mhm.
to show, but if we don't make the choices, beginning now, then what's possible? So back in the day, we used to live into our hundreds, 200s, 300s. We need to bring that back, because
Hmm.
we need to bring that back, and really look at how you think about your age.
Hmm.
Really look at how you think about your age, because you act according to your age, and
Yes.
you act according to how you think about your age.
Yes.
So I think an important place to begin is, how do you think about your age? And if you had a preferred biological age that you could choose, where you felt like, would you? I, I didn't want to be like in my 20s again. I didn't want, no, 35 felt like, yeah, I was at 35. That's a good age.
You
Mm.
were
35,
rocking it.
36, 37, right around in there. And so that's the vibration and the energy, because honestly, I am in the best, most awesome peace
Mm.
that I have ever held in my body
Yeah.
at this time in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm just beginning.
Hmm. Hmm. That's pretty powerful. We're all just beginning. Yeah. That's why
Mm.
go back to the word ageless. And it's a mindset. We have to decide that this is what we want to do. And
You
once you
know,
make
I
that decision, then you can move forward.
Yeah, I would like to say that there are people watching us, and
Hmm.
we're grateful for that, listening to us, we're grateful for that, who I could feel the energy of, well, I can't really do that. That's not
Hmm.
really for me.
Hmm.
I have, too much weight to lose. I have too much this to do. I have not enough that. I have not enough that. So, TK, I want to invite you to speak directly to them because it has happened to me. I've experienced people telling me, well, you work out. Well, I didn't always work out. I started working out in my 40s,
Mhm.
So what do we say to people who say, yes, but that can't really be me?
Mhm. Mhm. Um, I think that everyone is obviously different, and I think the key is not to compare yourself to anyone else. Um, I really want to focus on your choices, your life's purpose, your passions, and if our listeners can just focus on that first of all. And it's difficult because you do need some guidance, but if focus on that. And I do have a couple of real quick strategic tips if we have time for that.
Yes, go
Um,
ahead.
it's I'm thinking about women entrepreneurs, but I think the first tip is to relax, first of all. Allow yourself time and space to explore and meditate on the meaning of the signs that the universe is placing on your path. Sometimes we ignore those signs. We have to get into a mindset for that. So I believe that, our most profound epiphanies come when we're in our relaxed state. So for me, my best motivator is nature. That's tip number one.
Mm.
And then um, it deals with authenticity and vision and flexibility. They're all closely associated. I'd say, make sure that your vision for your future reflects then your purpose and passion. And these are not necessarily the same, um, although I think they should be aligned. In other words, I think we should move more toward authenticity and be guided by our heart. Um, Few people realize that few people are um, overnight success stories. So you have to exhibit that grit and determination and the will and uh, the desire to be your best self at this particular time in your life.
Mm.
And the next tip would be related to vulnerability, and we've all been there, and it's not comfortable. So I say, don't be afraid to fall and fumble, and that's all part of the adventure. I would say, I always say mistakes are not really mistakes. Instead, look at a perceived mistake as an epiphany or a critical learning experience that happened in order for you to learn more about yourself and to help you grow. We become wiser through these blunders. So being vulnerable includes taking risks. If we don't step outside our comfort zone, we'll never know what we're made of.
This is beautiful. I wrote out these 3 tips for people who are listening, watching, viewing, and I
Mhm.
want to encourage people to listen to this podcast as many times as you need. Write out those tips for yourself as a beautiful guide for your ageless next part of life. We just have another minute. TK, why don't you tell us how we can find you?
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Yeah, I want our listeners to know that uh, they can overcome current challenges, repurpose their lives, and have fun doing it. A transformational journey requires guidance and support. So we must take care of ourselves and make health a priority if we're going to be successful. I invite our listeners to please visit my website, lifestyle120.com, to find out more about my offerings and to sign up for my complimentary weekly blog and newsletter to get inspiration, wellness tips, and more. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on social media. If you want to sprout a new life or discuss a plan for moving forward, please email me, tk at lifestyle120.com, so we can set up an appointment.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And our listeners know, Kornelia, that you and I can both be found in the KS Media Group app. This is an app that has the leading practitioners in their fields all in one place to create a new earth, a new way of doing business, a new way of being, which includes ageless living. TK, thank you so much. Kornelia, always a pleasure. And I look forward to our next conversation because I'm thinking there's going to have to be a part 2 to this.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much for
everyone.
inviting me.
Thanks,
Yes.
Susan. Thanks, TK.
Take,
Thank you.
take good care,
You
everyone.
too.